Good evening once again. I'm Steve Kornacki in for Brian Williams. Day 1258 of the Trump administration, 126 days until the presidential election. Tonight, the White House is caught between two crises and trying to keep them from spiraling out of control. New coronavirus cases are escalating in more than half of the states, and there are more questions tonight about when the president knew about intelligence indicating Russia may have offered bounties to kill U.S. and coalition soldiers in Afghanistan. A person with direct knowledge of that intelligence has now confirmed to NBC News that the White House was made aware of it over a year ago, in early 2019. And in a new report, 3 officials familiar with that intelligence tell the New York Times that American officials intercepted financial transfers from a bank account that was controlled by the Russian military to an account linked to the Taliban. This afternoon, the White House responded, criticizing the media for its coverage, slamming leaks, and defending the president.
Since before President Trump assumed office, damaging and oftentimes erroneous leaks seeking to undermine or delegitimize the duly elected president have been published. The president was never briefed on this. This intelligence still has not been verified, and there's no consensus. The president has been briefed on what is unfortunately in the public domain because of the New York Times and the irresponsible leaks.
More broadly, I would re-ask the question of whether it was in his material, but ask you maybe to defend why the president isn't necessarily reading his PDB when there are these types of issues that could arise.
The president does read, and he also consumes intelligence verbally. This president, I'll tell you, is the most informed person on planet Earth when it comes to the threats that we face.
The briefing then turned to the U.S. intelligence community and the suggestion that some members may be targeting the president.
These are rogue intelligence officers.
Members of the IC are going after Trump. Is that what you're saying?
It very possibly could be.
Is the Trump administration doing anything or taking any action like an audit of the IC, or what steps are you planning on taking to try to find the source of the leaks?
Well, make no mistake, the DOJ has done several criminal leak referrals, 120 in 2017, 88 in 2018, 104 on average per year under President Trump.
Trump's presumptive fall opponent has now weighed in as well. During his first news conference in 3 months, Joe Biden accused Trump of betraying his duty as president.
The presidential daily brief is something I read every single day as vice president. The president read it every day. I was briefed every morning before I got to the White House and then again. So the idea that somehow he didn't know or isn't being briefed, it is a dereliction of duty if that's the case. And if he was briefed and nothing was done about this, that's a dereliction of duty.
Democratic lawmakers are demanding answers from the administration. Early this morning, 11 Democratic members of Congress were briefed at the White House by the Chief of Staff, the National Security Advisor, and the Director of National Intelligence, all of whom have been in the administration for less than 8 months. Afterward, the House Majority Leader and the Intelligence Committee Chairman spoke.
The president called this a hoax publicly. Nothing in the briefing that we have just received led me to believe it is a hoax. This was a red flag. It either was not waived or the president ignored the wave. President Truman said the buck stops here. President Trump says, I never saw the buck.
The right people to give the briefing really were not in the room. We need to hear from the heads of the intelligence agencies about how they assess the allegations that have been made publicly.
7 Senate Republicans also got a chance to hear from the administration at another briefing this morning. It was held right after that session for House Democrats. One of those Republicans later said he believed what the White House had to say.
After a very long briefing, I'm confident that President Trump didn't know about the reporting. There was some confusion in terms of our own intelligence, and it just didn't rise to the level of the president at that time.
Now, 2 sources tell NBC News that tomorrow the so-called Gang of 8, lawmakers the White House usually keeps in the loop on classified intelligence matters, will be getting their own briefing on the bounty issue. The Trump administration is also trying to navigate the alarming surge in COVID-19 cases throughout much of the nation. At least 36 states are now seeing a rise in new cases. California and Florida are being especially hard hit, both recording over 6,000 new cases each today. On Capitol Hill, Dr. Anthony Fauci gave members of the Senate Health Committee this warning.
We're going in the wrong direction if you look at the curves of the new cases. So we've really got to do something about that, and we need to do it quickly. Clearly, we are not in total control right now. We are now having 40,000+ new cases a day. I would not be surprised if we go up to 100,000 a day if this does not turn around.
Today, the vice president and the coronavirus task force continued to press the importance of masks. Joe Biden today offered his own plan on the coronavirus as he criticized Trump's response.
And it seems like our wartime president has surrendered, waved the white flag, and left the battlefield. Today, we're facing a serious threat, and we have to meet it. You called yourself a cheerleader. We don't need a cheerleader, Mr. President. We need a president, Mr. President.
Today, the European Union officially barred travelers from the U.S., citing concerns about COVID-19. In this country, 8 new states have been added to New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut's 14-day quarantine order for visitors to that area. There's a total of 16 states that now fall under that order from that tri-state region. Across the nation, governors are trying to control the latest surges by pausing or rolling back some of the reopening steps they had taken. 17 states have now moved in that direction. One expert says we may need to do even more.
We have wasted, I would say, the last 4-6 weeks and have not acted with the urgency we need. And now we're finding ourselves in a difficult situation where I suspect we're going to end up having states with shelter-in-place orders and having to lock down again. This is what we were all afraid of, but we're running out of options.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.